YouTube, friends. Just give us a minute to get that restarted again. But can you imagine, though? Can you imagine being like so gullible that you're going to literally think that it's about drugs? Again, we have to go get oil from other countries because Stevie, we have to go get oil from other countries because Donald Trump has decimated the domestic oil production company in our industry in our country. Leaning on Saudi as well counts dropped, as we're losing jobs across the board. And now we're going to go after Venezuelan oil so that other people in the cabinet and people connected to the oligarch class that's depending on Donald Trump to do this kind of shit will enrich themselves over and over and over. Hey, Dre, is that a threat? Are you threatening us, Dre? I want to make sure. Is that a threat? You guys want to get his profile information before you kick him, please? So we can do what we do. Is that a threat, Dre? Afraid of what? Afraid of you? That's hilarious. Afraid of you? Okay. Cool. Good to know. Anyway, we can see the writing on the wall, can't we? We can see the writing on the wall. We see it. It's right here. We see it. I'm going to check in over here real quick. And we're back. Yep. We're back up on YouTube. Okay. Let's talk about Tina Peters. There's been, you guys may not know the name or may not remember the name Tina Peters. Well, I'm going to give you some interesting news on Tina Peters. Tina Peters, a former tech entrepreneur. I'm sorry, let me back up a second. Tina Peters, 2021, Peters allowed unauthorized individuals to access secure election equipment during a trusted build process, which led to leaks of Dominion software images that circulated in conspiracy channels. Colorado Secretary of State, a grand jury concluded the breach was deliberate. Peters was indicted on multiple felony counts, including identity theft, misconduct, and conspiracy related to the breach. She was later convicted on misdemeanor obstruction in a separate case involving interfering with investigators. Peters ran for Colorado Secretary of State in 2022, but lost in the GOP primary. Her felony trial has been repeatedly delayed, but still active. She remains a prominent figure in the election denialist movement and regularly appears at far-right events. The Trump administration is pushing to have her pardoned. They're state crimes. They want Jared Polis, who's the Democratic governor of Colorado, to transfer her to federal custody so that she could be pardoned. So here's some of the reporting. Hang on one sec.
Peters' attorney is calling for President Trump to use the military to free Peters from a prison in Colorado. This comes as a bipartisan group of election clerks in Colorado says Democratic Governor Jared Polis's indecision on whether to give in to Trump on this issue and free the former election clerk convicted of breaching election security is an insult to election workers and voters.
Are you saying that you believe the president should call out the 100?
So this is Steve Bannon's voice you're hearing first. Then you're going to be hearing Tina Peters' attorney. This shit is wild. Listen to this whole interview.
First Airborne, they should go to her prison in Colorado and say, hey, boys, the pros from Dover are here. Back off. We're taking Tina Peters and we're going to take her today.
Do I think that it should be done? For who I am, yeah, I would love to see that happen.
Tina Peters' attorney endorsing a military raid to free her from prison in Colorado.
Her attorney endorsing a military raid to come and get her out of a state jail. Nice.
Follows escalating rhetoric on the far right.
And frankly, I think violence is probably the only solution at this point.
This week, MAGA podcaster Joe Oltmann from Douglas County called for the execution of Colorado Governor Jared Polis and others.
I think all these people should be tried for treason and hung. I think Jared Polis should be hung. I think Jenna Griswold should be hung. I think Phil Weiser should be hung. I think they should hang by their neck until dead.
Oltmann is influential with Colorado Republican leaders and is a close ally of Peters.
Tina Peters should be out of prison right now. She should not have to serve another day there. And you know what it's going to take? I think it's going to take somebody doing something very drastic, a group of people doing something drastic to let them know that they don't have any peace.
Governor Polis has been silent in response to our questions about whether he'll turn Peters over to her friends in the Trump administration, 1 year into her 9-year sentence for tampering with election systems.
His silence is deafening, and it's also offensive. It's deeply offensive to county clerks. It's deeply offensive to the Republicans and Democrats who serve as election judges and actually implement these elections.
Molly Fitzpatrick is the Democratic clerk in Polis's Boulder County. Haley Johnson is the Republican clerk from Jackson County, who tearfully pleaded with Polis to keep Peters in prison.
If you transfer Tina Peters to federal custody, you are making a statement that elected officials are above the law. This is a very dangerous precedent. I urge you, Governor Polis, stand with Colorado County clerks.
Late this afternoon, the governor's office told us he would meet with those election clerks. Today, the State Department of Corrections fulfilled our open records request to see the Fed's letter asking to take custody of Tina Peters. Much of that letter was redacted. It was blacked out. The state told us it was not in the public interest for you to see it.
So it's from the most recent reporting I've gotten, it does not seem like there's been a definitive statement from the governor's office about this. Kind of wishy-washy politicking. Again, this person is convicted of election-related crimes, illegally giving people who are investigating, fraud access to Dominion voting machines. This person. Right-wing podcasters, because again, it's the left who promotes violence, right-wing podcasters calling for the execution of Jared Polis, other people connected to this. Tina Peters' attorney wanting the 101st Airborne to go break her out of jail. This is who these people are. They vote. They see no crime. They hear no truth. They speak no facts. But they vote. So you should be highly motivated when you hear shit like this. The hatred, the cruelty, the deceit, the deception, the fraud, the corruption, like we've never seen before. And his voters don't give a fuck. They don't care because they like him. He gives them a little tickle in their pants. They don't think any of this is the reason they don't think he's a racist because they're racists. The reason they don't think he's a bigot is because they're bigots. The reason they don't think he's a womanizer is because they're womanizers. They're never going to stand up to him saying, calling a woman who's doing her job as a reporter quiet picky, or telling another female journalist that she's stupid, right? So these people are. This is the fight. So Farmer Jay, bro, you used to like your live and you watch all the time. You actually agree, but now it's hate. Farmer Jay, it's hatred because of what your movement stands for. You don't like it, then how about stepping up for once and calling out what it is? You live in a little bubble for years. You blame Joe Biden for everything. Projection, accusations or confessions. You always see it every single day. What we are asking for is people who voted for this to finally stand up and realize that you've been fucking lied to. And the entire thing is fueled by hatred. For whom and why? Why do you hate people so much? Why? Why do you hate people? Why do you choose to hate people so much? Why? Who told you to hate brown people? Who told you to hate the Somali community in Minnesota? There's a large Somali community in a town next to Burlington, Vermont. Not bothering anybody. You just don't like them because you've been told not to, and that strokes your bigoted fire, doesn't it? Again, it's the left that's promoting violence, right? You've got Steve Bannon, last time I checked, not on the left, promoting the use of the 101st Airborne, his words, to come in and bust Tina Peters, who's a felon, who's in jail serving her time. Seriously. Been in jail serving her time for election denial, for fraud, all kinds of shit. And the solution to that from the right is let's use the 101st Airborne to break her out of prison. And then right-wing fucking podcasters say that Jared Polis, an elected official, the governor of Colorado, should be hung. And other people, part of keeping her in jail for her crimes, should be hung as well. Yeah, that would be an example of an illegal order. Good call, Reeb. Sending the 101st Airborne in, that would be an example of an illegal order, an unlawful order. And I'm sure that right-wing podcaster, when he closed his show, would do his prayer, right? Okay. Good to know. It just makes me so angry that we've allowed this to happen. We, the collective we. I've said this before. America's apathy, America's sense of entitlement, America's just laissez-faire approach to our democracy enabled Donald Trump to become elected again. We should all be fucking angry about this. We should all be angry. We got to use it, though. How are we going to use it? What are we going to do with it? How? What's your do something? We've seen more and more people running for office. We know that the conservative right and the MAGA movement are going to be decimated in the elections next year. They know about it. They're already preparing for it. Mike Johnson is scrambling. He can't keep his caucus in line. People despise him. We went through the exercise yesterday. There's an outside possibility that he might even lose his speakership before the end of the term, just because so many people are retiring. It's horrible. It's horrible. So this is since the deadline to end the war in Ukraine passed yesterday. that was the argument, right? The demand of the Trump administration. The Russian negotiated peace deal was supposed to end yesterday. Here's some statements that the president has made about Russia, Ukraine over the past, year. Hold on.
An end to this horrible and rapidly escalating war within 24 hours.
You said you would have this war settled in 24 hours.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic.
Did you give Putin a deadline for the ceasefire?
Not a deadline, but I think we'll have one.
Is there a deadline for Russian President Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire?
It's a psychological deadline. We have a deadline, and after that, we're going to have a very much different attitude. But I think it has a very good chance of getting done. No deadline. I just want to do it as fast as possible. We're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today.
Is your deadline still standing for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire tomorrow, or is that fluid now?
It's going to be up to him.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace in that region, Mr. President?
Well, I'll let you know in about, I would say within 2 weeks, we're going to know one way or the other.
That deadline is now nearly approached. Can you give us any indication when you will make it?
Well, I'm having a conversation with him very shortly, and I'll know pretty much what we're going to be doing.
I've had a lot of deadlines, but if things are working well, you tend to extend the deadlines. But Thursday is, we think, an appropriate time.
I don't have a deadline. I just, what the deadline for me is? When it's over.
The question that I have when these situations come up is like, MAGA, do you guys care that you're just lied to every day? I mean, do Republicans in general, do you guys, is it a kink? I'm not gonna kink shame you. I mean, do your thing. I mean, I think the more kinks we have, the better. I think we'd all be happier. But is it yours that you just enjoy being lied to? I mean, you literally just lied to every single day. Every day. Every fucking day. 2 weeks, a month. Don't need a deadline. It's another 2 weeks. I'm going to push this out. Don't need a deadline. My deadline is when it's over. Promise that, I mean, do you care? Do you care about any of it? Is that how weak you are as well? I mean, all the mediocre men in the chat today, MAGA men in the chat, flexing, too scared to come in the box and talk about it. You're just the weakest. MAGA men, conservative Christian men, white MAGA men are the weakest example I've ever seen. You're mediocre. On a good day, you're mediocre. And you just sit there and just accept lie after lie after lie after lie. It's all you'll do. You'll find somebody else to blame so that you can avoid consequences, so that you can avoid looking in the damn mirror. What? If my family was on TikTok, you'd have plenty to argue with. It's just a weird thing. You want to blame Mark Kelly? Mark Kelly was on a fucking rocket 4 times. They thought of him so highly that he commanded 4 fucking missions on a rocket into the vacuum of space. Fighter jets, served his country honorably, and he's a traitor in your mind? That guy? Anybody else who served our nation honorably, reminding other active duty military that they have an oath to disobey an unlawful order, and those people are traitors? Really? Do you see how pitiful that sounds? Man, you guys are desperate. Speaking of that, this goes back to 2019. When we questioned what would happen if illegal, unlawful orders were given. Here you go.
Treason is punishable by death. You've accused your adversaries of treason. Who specifically are you accusing of treason?
Well, I think a number of people, and I think what you look is that they have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person. If you look at Comey, if you look at McCabe, if you look at probably people higher than that, if you look at Strzok, if you look at his lover, Lisa Page, his wonderful lover, the 2 lovers, they talked openly. You know, they didn't use their private server because they didn't want to get caught, so they used the government server. That was not a good move. He talked about the insurance policy just in case crooked Hillary loses, and that didn't work out too well for them. So you look at them, they want an insurance policy so that should she, for any reason, lose, remember, 100 million to 1. Maybe he said 100 million to nothing. But should she lose, we'll have an insurance policy and we'll get this guy out of office. And that's what they said and that's what they meant. That's treason. That's treason.
Okay. Okay. I'm just like, it's the same old thing. It's the same old thing all the time. I'm going to play some sound from Jamie Raskin. Oh, actually, let me do this. This is a little bit more from the press conference last night. That was wild. Like, the reporter asked him, "What are you most thankful for?" Okay, and it's a simple question, but here's Peepoff.
Because they're nothing but trouble. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Go ahead.
One question about this asylum claim that is being floated. Of course, you just detailed that this suspect was flown in under the Biden administration.
Yeah.
But was he granted asylum under your administration?
When it comes to asylum, when they're flown in, it's very hard to get them out. No matter how you want to do it, it's very hard to get them out. But we're going to be getting them all out now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Here, take that picture if you want it, Press.
Mr. President, what are you most thankful for this Thanksgiving? Thank you, guys.
The fact that America's great again. We made America great again. America was a dead country. We made America great again. Here you go.
What? What? If it's so, there was him admitting that he gave them asylum. MAGA, do you understand that? Listen to it again.
Because they're nothing but trouble. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Go ahead.
One question about this asylum claim that is being floated. Of course, you just detailed that this suspect was flown in under the Biden administration.
Yeah.
But was he granted asylum under your administration?
When it comes to asylum, when they're flown in, it's very hard to get them out. No matter how you want to do it, it's very hard to get them out. But we're going to be getting them all out now. Thank you very much.
So, like, oh my God. Can you? I'm trying to imagine. Like, I'm gonna try to imagine what it would be like to be a Trump supporter. It would be so easy, right? It would be so easy to not critically think, to not try to solve problems, to not look at things objectively, to literally bend over and take lies, to grab your ankles and be raw dogged into believing all the fucking bullshit. Be easy. Be so fucking easy. It'd be so easy to live in denial. Creators on this app spewing fucking bullshit, claims of these expert fucking debaters. I watch their shit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This is the best they've got? It's just not making any sense at the moment, but I've got a few other things I want to play for you today. Let me see here. I played that sound. I played that for you. Here's a claim about when Trump's talking about taxes. He recently said that we're the highest taxed country in the world, and he was confronted by a reporter, an independent journalist. I can't credit the guy because I don't know who it is, but this is the kind of questioning that we want to see from our press. So here you go.
Highest taxed nation in the world. When that's been seen as objectively false, how, with the credibility you need to pass tax reform, why do you say?
Some people say it differently, and they'll say we're the highest developed nation taxed in the world.
And why don't you say it that way?
And because a lot of people know exactly what I'm talking about, and in many cases they think I'm right when I say the highest.
Data from the international organization show the U.S. has a lower overall tax burden than many other developed countries, including France, Denmark, and Sweden. While corporate tax rates in the U.S. are relatively high on paper, deductions and exemptions often reduce what businesses actually pay. Reporters and fact checkers have confronted the Trump on these statements many times, noting that in reality, the U.S. ranks in the middle or lower range globally when it comes to total taxes. Again, it's just a fucking lie. It's just a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Why do you guys continue to just believe it? Because you're going to see things like that that get regurgitated, that get repackaged, that get rebranded and just told something else. It's fucking mind-boggling to me. It's mind-boggling that you would believe it. You could just look it up. I was curious myself, so I pulled the data. Like, okay, where do we rank? Middle. Now, I would not mind if we were taxed more, if that meant we're going to get universal health care. Sign me the fuck up. But no. That would be, we couldn't afford that. Thank you to James and to Gloria. You guys, thank you. Gloria said, first time on the $2 challenge. Thank you, Gloria. Challenging everybody. What does that say? Oh, $2 challenge to everybody. Thanks for what you do, Facts. I appreciate that. Marcy, thank you so much. That's very kind. Let me do this. Okay. Somebody make it make sense for me. Make it make sense. Can you just imagine sitting in a space where you're just lying all day long, every day, and believing it? Everything is a lie. It's all a fucking lie. They're lying about the situation with the National Guard troop. We're lying about the fact that this person was vetted through the process, vetted, and vetted again. Vetted over the top. And this person was granted asylum under the Trump administration, and they won't talk about that. They won't. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, please. Janique, thank you for your kind contribution. I appreciate you. Thank you, Kate. Again, Maggie, thank you guys. You're very kind. Appreciate you all very, very much. Janique says, Steve, my brain hurts from Sundowning's live social post. Thank you for all you do, keeping the 2-hour train going. Thank you, Janique. I appreciate you so much. Also to Kate, Vicky, thank you, Vicky. Towards the train, I appreciate you, Vicky. That's very kind for your $10. Appreciate you. Kate says, $2 challenge activated. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate you. I'll bring this down again. You guys are being kind to me today. I appreciate. You're kind to me every single day, but I appreciate you all very, very much. All right, so we've got a few updates in regards to court cases that are coming up. In the one I think it's really sort of on the top of my mind is the redistricting, districting decision. Supreme Court looks like they're probably going to take the case. I'm not surprised that there was a response at the Supreme Court, because it does involve a federal election, and ultimately it's going to be a potentially a bellwether for things to come. But the court's decision to basically tell the Republicans that you can't do this because you violated the law, there was questions about if that were to happen, what would California do in response? Like, for example, like if Texas was told you can't do this, would California change their mind and go back to the way things were? I never thought that would be the case, but there's reporting to confirm it. This is from the Daily News. New York, no signs California won't move forward with redistricting despite a court blocking a similar plan in Texas. After a panel of federal judges in Texas struck down the state's recently redrawn maps, voters in California might be wondering if that means the Golden State will halt its own mid-decade redistricting plan. After all, when Governor Newsom and other California Democrats began talking about redistricting early on, they framed it as a counter to the gerrymandering in Texas that was meant to benefit Republicans there. In selling the idea to voters that California should adopt new maps that benefit Democrats, Newsom said just before he signed a bill to the special election, "We're responding to what occurred in Texas. We're neutralizing what occurred." However, now that Texas may not be able to move forward with its redistricting plans, the recent decision could still be overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. Some voters may wonder if California ought to proceed with its new maps. Newsom's office confirmed that California can still go forward with its plan because it's not contingent on what happens in any other state. That's because on the day the California legislature passed bills to call for a special election and put new maps before voters, language that said California's new maps would be implemented only if Texas, Florida, or another state adopts a new congressional district map was removed. At the time, a spokesperson for the Assembly Speaker, Robert Rivas, said that wording was removed because Texas had, by then, voted to redistrict. So it doesn't seem like California's going to change their mind. Because Texas Republicans have voted, spokesperson Nick Miller said in an August email, the original trigger language in our measure is no longer necessary. To make sure the measure is clear to Californian voters, when they have the final say, it has been removed. Some voters still may be surprised, though, thinking California would only move forward with redistricting if Texas does. The title of the ballot measure had stated that Prop 50 authorizes temporary changes to congressional district maps in response to Texas partisan redistricting. So, no, California's not. They're not going to change their mind. And I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. There's no reason for them to. Good morning, Joel. How are you today?
Good morning. I am well.
Excellent. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm looking at your hats, and I'm assuming that you are anti-Trump. Is that fair?
I'm pro-democracy and pro-America, so yes.
Well, America's not a democracy.
No, it is, actually.
Okay. Could you recite for me the Pledge of Allegiance?
The Pledge of Allegiance is nothing constitutional.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, a republic is a form of democracy, Joel.
But it's not a direct democracy. It is a republic.
I never said it was.
A republic is a representative democracy.
Correct. Exactly.
So every republic is a democracy, but not every democracy is a republic.
I know.
So then why are you saying we're a democracy when we're clearly a republic?
We're a constitutional republic is a form of democracy. Do we not vote, Joel? Do we not vote for our representatives?
We vote for our representatives.
Correct. Therefore, it would be a what?
A republic, a representative democracy.
Exactly, which is what I said. A representative democracy.
But we are not a direct democracy because democracy means
I
that
never
people
said we were.
People do not rule.
I never said we were.
Okay, then why did you say we're protecting our democracy when we're protecting our republic?
Okay, Joel, do you have a point that you'd like to make? Because you sound stupid. Would you like to make
I
a
don't
point?
sound stupid. I'm talking about things directly from the Constitution. And you said facts matter, correct?
You brought up the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay,
So
do you believe in the
that
rule of
was-
law? Because it's the Pledge of Allegiance specifically says to the
do.
republic for which it stands.
Well, that's not the
So you
rule
believe
of
in the
law.
rule
It's
of
the Pledge
law?
Allegiance.
So you believe in the rule of law?
I do.
Okay, so you believe that we should be deporting people who are here illegally?
Joel, do you believe in the rule of law? I said I do. Do you?
Wait. Do you believe that we should be
answered your
deporting
question.
people who are here illegally?
Joel.
See, you don't answer. You are disingenuous.
Joel.
You are coming to this with bad faith.
Joel, I just answered your question. You asked me if I believe in the rule of law. I said yes.
I immediately
Then
followed
asked
it
you.
with another question. You did not answer.
Wait, no, again, do you believe in the rule of law, Joel?
I believe in the rule of law.
You voted for a felon.
When I voted for him, he was not a felon.
He's a convicted felon. Yes,
I voted for him. He was not.
No.
I voted for him in 2016 and in 2020.
You didn't vote for him this time?
I was not able to vote for him this time.
Why not?
I was not in my state and I did not vote absentee.
Why not?
Because I had not gone through paperwork to officially move my address at the time.
That's lazy. Why didn't you?
Oh, I was busy campaigning for him, actually, too, as well.
Oh, so you would have voted for him?
Absolutely, I would have.
So you would have voted for a felon?
I absolutely would have voted for Donald Trump. I believe that lawfare was a major factor in this. Okay.
He's a felon, though. So you said you believe in the rule of
But
law.
then Fannie Willis is also a felon, one of the people charging him.
Was she convicted of a crime?
She's been charged with felony.
Was she convicted?
I don't think it's gone through. I think it's an appeal again.
Okay, so again, was she convicted?
But just because you weren't convicted doesn't mean you didn't do it.
Again, if you believe
Was
in
OJ
the rule
convicted?
of law, no, he was found civilly responsible, though.
But was he convicted?
He was found civilly responsible.
Okay, so because he wasn't convicted, he was innocent, right?
I didn't say that.
Exactly. So you understand that people can be wrongfully convicted.
Again, I'm so much.
Can
better
people
at this
be
than you
wrongfully
are.
convicted in the United States?
You're the one that said that you believe in the rule of law.
Okay, facts still matter. Do you believe people can be wrongfully convicted?
Joel, you said you believe in the rule of law, Joel. And then I asked you if you voted for Donald Trump. And you said you couldn't, but then I said you would. So you don't believe in the rule of law, Joel.
That's not what that means at all. You're assuming that you can only have beliefs if you make no exception. You yourself just made an exception. You're disproving your own argument. You did.
What exception did I make?
O.J. Simpson is an exception.
Was he convicted?
No, you just said that if you believe in a rule of law, then that means that you believe that everyone who's convicted deserves to be convicted.
Do you believe in the rule of law, Joel?
I believe in the rule of law. Generally speaking, I do believe that the law can make mistakes.
Oh, got it. So you support. So if Donald Trump was not found guilty, you would accepted that verdict?
No, I would only accept the verdict that showed that he had been exonerated because according to the evidence, which I examined for myself, he didn't do what they accused him of.
He did. That's why he was convicted.
He absolutely did not.
He did. So in your opinion, Joel, so you know more than the jury and the judges?
Oh, juries are made up of idiots.
So then you can blame Donald Trump for that because his team was part of picking the jury.
No, they were part of screening the jury. And I can blame New York for not giving him a trial of his own peers because, one, you couldn't even make a jury of his own peers. You'd have to find 10 billionaires. Good luck with that.
What's the Sixth Amendment, Joel?
You have the right to a jury trial.
Right, and the jury of your peers. And also, what else does it include?
You have
it's where the crime was committed, Joel. So let me ask you a question.
Okay, but he did not, objectively speaking, he did not commit the crime you think he committed.
No, he did.
No, he didn't. Him paying the money, well, for one, he didn't even pay the money to Stormy Daniels. But if he had paid the money to Stormy Daniels, that wouldn't have been him interfering in the election because nothing he did and nothing he does affects how people support him. I can prove that you're lying.
Joel.
I can prove that you're lying with Donald Trump's own words. You ready? What did Trump say he could do he could go out on Fifth Avenue and do what? And it wouldn't change how he was perceived. What did he say?
He could unalive somebody.
Correct. Do you believe that's true?
No, I don't.
So you think people would still vote for him?
I absolutely do.
Then that proves that what he said was true.
Proves that he could. So you think wait a minute. Do you think it's a flex that Donald Trump could say that he would unalive people and people would still vote for him? You think
no,
that's a flex?
It's proof that he did not attempt to influence the election by making payments to that lady, because clearly it didn't have an effect.
No, that's not true. That's not the rule of law, Joel.
Every time they've come after Trump for something that would have ended any other politician's career, he just keeps moving further from it. He keeps moving forward from it.
That's because people like you are stupid and would still
because
vote for
people
him.
like me are stupid. That's
correct.
That's cute.
You said you believe in the rule of law, Joel. You said you believe in the rule of law. So let me ask you a question. If Donald, so are you saying he couldn't get a fair trial in New York? Is that your claim?
Could not get a fair trial in New York.
Okay, could he have gotten a fair trial in West Virginia?
Probably not, actually.
Why not?
It would be biased the other direction.
Oh, so he couldn't get a fair. So are you saying you can't get a fair trial anywhere?
No, he could have probably gotten a fair trial in like Ohio or Pennsylvania.
Why? Why in Ohio or Pennsylvania?
Because those states are made up evenly of people that would be just as likely to hate him as they are to like him. In New York, probably 9 out of 10 people hate him.
Well, unfortunately, you just can't pick and choose because the Constitution makes it so, Joel. The Constitution says you need to be tried.
I'm not arguing with the way that the system is created.
Hold on a second. You can't pick and choose where you want to be tried. The law says you're tried where you commit the crime. Correct?
I mean, the law also says you can't imprison a sitting president of the United States.
Again, we're going back to the first question. Let's not pivot.
That's so funny. That's why he's not in jail.
Let's not pivot. Yeah, that's
so his presidential immunity. Look it up.
Let's not pivot.
Look it up, champ.
Let's not pivot, Joel. Let's not pivot. Where did he commit the crimes that he was found guilty of, Joel?
Oh, wait a minute.
Where?
So you think that if somebody as a political figure is convicted of crimes, that there's no possibility that those crimes could be politically motivated? The prosecution could be politically motivated.
Let's answer the question. Joel. I know you're caught now, and you're going to try to run from this.
No. We're not caught. If you let me talk, there's no chance you beat me in any. Not a chance.
Where did he commit the crime, Joel?
The alleged crime was committed in New York.
No, not alleged, because he was convicted of it. Where did he commit the crime, Joel?
Convictions don't mean that it wasn't alleged.
Alleged. Oh my God.
Oh, so you think if somebody's convicted, they're guilty?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know how many crimes Martin Luther King Jr. was convicted of?
Joel, where was Donald Trump?
Do you know when he wrote those letters from a Birmingham jail, he was convicted of a crime?
Hey, Joel, where did Donald Trump?
Do you believe that those were fair crimes, or do you believe he was being politically prosecuted?
Joel, where did Donald Trump commit his crimes?
Interesting.
Where did he commit his crimes?
He committed the alleged crimes in New York.
No, not alleged. He was convicted.
They're still alleged.
Convicted, Joel.
Isn't it still on appeal?
No, the appeals are done. The judge ruled that he was sentenced. And because he won the presidency, his sentence was, I think, suspended. Not that the decision was overruled.
Yeah, it was suspended indefinitely. So good luck with that.
But he was convicted, Joel. He was convicted. He's a 34-time convicted felon.
It was all the same thing. It was 34 counts of the same thing. He didn't commit 34 new things. It was 34 counts of the same thing. Election interference.
He was incorrect. He was convicted 34 individual counts of fraud involving election interference.
They were all the same thing. They charged him per transaction.
There were 34 separate instances, Joel. I know this is hard for you.
They literally charged him with the same thing 34 times.
They did not. They charged him with 34 separate instances of crimes.
Of the same thing?
Incorrect. You're just wrong.
Okay.
Why are you yelling?
So go through it. Go through it.
Joel, why are you yelling?
You are unbelievable. If I got charged for
super smart, right?
If I got charged for parking in a handicap spot, right? And they gave me 25 counts of parking in a handicap spot. That's 25 times they're charging me for the same thing. Parking in a handicap spot. But if I got charged with parking in a handicap spot, blowing a red light,
I've ever heard.
Running from the cops, those are all separate things. Do you understand?
He was charged 34 times for 34 individual elements of fraud.
The same thing. All right, we'll look it up.
Incorrect. There were checks. There were ledger entries. These are the facts of the case, Joel.
The ledger entries were not charged as separate counts of fraud from the checks.
Yes, they were.
Bro, and he didn't even do it. He literally paid his lawyer, and his lawyer paid the girl. He didn't even pay the girl. That's proof.
Joel, you just want to argue, don't you?
Did he pay his lawyer, or did he pay the girl directly?
Joel, can I ask you a solid question?
Did he pay the girl, or did he?
Can I ask you a serious question?
The lawyer did.
He's
not. The lawyer should have gone to jail for that, not him.
The lawyer did go to jail for that. Can you answer me a serious question?
The lawyer should have gone to jail for that. He should not.
Can you answer me a serious question?
I answer all of your questions.
Okay, what did you have for breakfast today?
Eggs.
Nobody fucking cares. Joel doesn't believe anything. Joel likes to hear himself. Joel likes to smell his own farts. Joel's one of those people who doesn't want to learn anything.
Oh no, Joel is a liar.
Oh, I know. Joel's a total liar. Whoa.
He voted.
I'm glad you're here now. We can cleanse the place now that you're here.
Yeah, Joel's a liar. I didn't want to get into a screaming match with him, so actually thank you for not allowing me up when he was here, because I don't feel like screaming. I think you already know that. But yeah, he lied to you for no reason whatsoever. He voted for Donald Trump in 2024. And even as recently as October, he was going around the app saying that he regrets his vote for Donald Trump because he recently became a father. And a certain person on his wife's side, who is white, called his newborn child a racial slur.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, and he said that he was rethinking his vote, and that he knew that he didn't want to be anti-black anymore. But yeah, he's just full of nonsense. I think he's trying to figure out which character fits for him.
I think he's trying. Yeah, I think he's trying. That's when you yell and scream. It's a typical debate bro tactic, right?
Yeah.
Like just yell and scream. But yeah. Anyway,
it was a lot. It was so early in the morning. Good grief! I'm like, bro, calm down. Good grief! Why are you screaming?
I've spoken to Joel before, and Joel loves to run around and claims that he wins these kind of debates, and it's just not worthwhile. He doesn't really want to debate. He just wants to argue. But that's fine.
Exactly. Well, check your Venmo. That's all I wanted. I was like, Steve, he's lying to you. He's lying. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Of course. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye. Donald Trump was found guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree under New York law. The falsified records related to payments and reimbursements tied to a payment recently made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, which prosecutors argued were mischaracterized in the business records as legal or other expenses rather than reimbursements for that payment. Prosecutors alleged the scheme was meant to conceal the payment in order to influence the 2016 election. He became the president after that. 34 individual counts of fraud. Misdemeanors in and of themselves, when used to commit another crime, they're elevated to a felony. So those are the facts. Sorry to tell you, Joel. Joel, you and I have spoken before, and you're just not very good at this because you yell. If you could maintain composure, I know it's difficult when you're looking into my baby blues. I understand. I'd be intimidated too if it were me. But I'm just saying, like if you had just taken a deep breath, we could have potentially had a conversation. But no. You don't want to do that. Erica, thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate you so very, very much. Also to Kathleen and to Joanne and to Karen. You guys are awesome. Joanne jumped on the 2x10 train. I appreciate you for your kindness. You guys are spectacular human beings. Oh, this is great. You guys are awesome. Thank you. I'm doing math in my head, so it could be wrong. Anyway, that's Joel. I know Joel was lying. If you want to believe in the rule of law, like we've always said this before, right? Like we've always talked about this before. If you just want to argue, then this isn't the place for you. This isn't a safe space because, Joel, I'm smarter than you are. I'm much more patient than you are. And I've got the truth on my side. I don't have to make up excuses. I don't have to use uncomfortable laughter, which is a sign when you're debating someone that you know you've lost. Because you need the uncomfortable laughter to try to deflect from what's actually happening. If you wanted to have an intelligent conversation, we could have done that. And we could have discussed it, right? We could have just discussed it. But when you can't come in here and claim that you care about the rule of law and voted for a 34-time convicted felon. 3 times, Joel, right? So it's unfortunate for you and your however many followers you have. You have lots. I don't know why people would follow you, because did you pay for all your followers, Joel? Did you pay for them? That would be pretty skeevy. I don't know why anybody would do that, but whatever, Joel. You do you. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate you. Okay. And thank you, everybody. Let me check over here real quick. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Karen. Empathy and concern. Thank you, Karen. That's very sweet. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, James. Guys, you're great. This is awesome. I appreciate y'all very, very much. You guys are awesome. Here's Serial. Good morning, Serial. How are you today?
I'm okay.
You're okay? How old are you for TikTok purposes?
I'm 26.
Okay. What's on your mind?
Do you believe that Trump is a morally bad person?
He's horribly... Ty, why do you keep changing your name? Seriously. We know it's you. We know it's you, Ty.
I don't know who Ty is.
Yes, you do. We know it's you. We know it's you, Ty. We know it's you.
Who is Ty?
Ty, we know it's you, okay? We know it's you. Now, would you like to have a conversation, or do you want to spew your typical hatred?
I guess you don't want to have a conversation.
No, I do. I just want to know if you can have one without being exactly. Exactly. Like, you could come in with a different accent. You could try something a little bit different, but it's a very distinct sound, bro. So don't do that, okay? Just don't. Just don't do that. It's just not worth it. Like, why would you bother? Just don't. Okay. Let me see where I want to go with this next. So we've got more to talk. He's obsessed. I know. Dumb. The judge has ordered an expedited processing of requests for the records related to the DOJ's handling of the Epstein files. This came out a couple of days ago. I meant to talk about it yesterday, but I didn't get to it. The Department of Justice is facing new scrutiny over the decision to withhold the JE files earlier this year. A federal judge this week ordered the DOJ to expedite processing of a FOIA request related to the Trump administration's decision in July not to release files from the investigation to JE. With the DOJ already facing a December the 19th deadline. That's the date. So the discharge petition, which was signed into law, the Epstein Transparency Act, 30 days. December the 19th is a date they have to release everything. Okay? I know. We're all still laughing at Joel. Hello, doggy. Stay out of that spot. Okay? Come here. Thank you. Okay. Federal judge ordered that because of a FOIA request. With the DOJ already facing a December the 19th deadline to turn over the Epstein files as mandated by the Transparency Act, the ruling could shed light on why the Trump administration reversed course on its earlier vow to release the files. A joint FBI and DOJ memo in July concluded there was no basis to revisit the disclosure of those materials, and that their review, quote, did not uncover any evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. We know that that's a bunch of bullshit, okay? We know that that's all been a fucking lie to try to cover this up. Progressive legal nonprofit Democracy Forward brought the lawsuit after the Justice Department's constructively denied its expedited review request regarding the internal records. According to the ruling, including whether Attorney General Pam Bondi, quote, misled the American people in representing that the client list was on her desk and ready for review, and whether the DOJ, quote, reversed course on the decision to disclose the Epstein matter case files out of a desire to cover up the content within. Specifically, the FOIA request sought records that might show that the reported mention of Trump's name in the files prompted the reversal. Judge Tanya Chutkin, ironically enough, she's the judge involved in this. She was a judge that was part of the DC, one of the numerous indictments that Jack Smith handed down on the twice impeached, 4-time indicted, sexually abusing, fraudulent, convicted felon named Liz Predator. Chutkin, who oversaw Trump's criminal cases related to his efforts to overturn the 2020 election, ruled on Monday the Democracy Forward demonstrated that their request was reasonably tailored to a matter of widespread and exceptional media interest in which there exist possible questions about the government's integrity that affect public confidence, clearing the legal bar to order expedited processing. The request for records reflecting all correspondence between DJT and JE is plainly tied to the concern discussed in the media that the Justice Department reversed its position on the disclosure of the documents only after Attorney General Bondi reportedly informed the president that his name appeared in the files numerous times. Hang on a second. Sorry.
Ready?
I'm nervous. I mean, yeah. I only see 4 ingredients out here.
Only.
Sorry. Yes, exactly. It's mouse parts. It's definitely mouse parts. In the same ruling, Judge Chutkan partially denied Democracy Forward's request for records mentioning whistleblowers and flight logs, concluding those terms were overbroad, but granted the bulk of their request. Judge Chutkan ordered both sides to file a report by December the 5th, so next week, to determine the next steps in the FOIA request and the lawsuit. Separately, the DOJ asked 2 judges in the Southern District of New York to authorize the release of grand jury transcripts and exhibits from the prosecutions of J.E. and Ghislaine Maxwell ahead of the December 19th deadline for the DOJ to release Epstein files per the Transparency Act. U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton, whom Attorney General Pam Bondi tapped to lead an investigation into prominent Democrats associated with Epstein, signed a motion asking the judges who oversaw the cases to approve the release of the grand jury material subject to necessary redactions. Quote, in the light of the Act's clear mandate, the court should authorize the DOJ to release the grand jury transcripts and exhibits and modify any pre-existing protective orders that would otherwise prevent public disclosure by the government of materials, the disclosure of which is required by the Act. So what does this mean? So the idea here is that the FOIA requests, so we all can submit Freedom of Information Act requests. In fact, I am thinking about doing one in this case. I have no idea where it's going to go, but I've contacted my congressional delegation with these questions. So I'm hoping to be able to do this. They're asking for expedited release of certain information that the DOJ has. And this is why I think people are getting a little too hyper-focused on whether or not the Trump administration is going to redact information, hide things, which is very likely. But the more people they're asking for this information, the more pressure it puts on the DOJ to be consistent with their rulings. So this entire thing comes down to the fact that they've lied from the beginning, from the summer. We know that. They've lied about the whole thing. So you've got Congress mandating it. And as a reminder, Trump could have ordered the DOJ to release everything they have now, and they haven't. So it's the cover-up continues, right? So I think we'll watch that story because December 5th is the first deadline we face. They have to respond to this request by December 5th. Under the Freedom of Information Act, it's very clear. They're obligated to release this information. Redactions included, of course, but we'll see. So that's going to be really telling because there's so many layers to this whole thing. It's also reported by Katie Tur because there's more little layers to this story. So I'll play this for you as well. Multitude of that. Hold on one second. That's not what I want to play. Where is it? Okay, here we go.
Always something going on when it deals with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And I thought that I would take a minute to get everybody caught up to speed because there's just a lot. So let's get into it because I want to make sure that you have the knowledge so you can share it, but also share this video if you can and tell people to subscribe. We're on a push. Okay, so let's start with one of the more recent developments, which is the following. Ghislaine Maxwell is now claiming that she is going to invoke her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination if she is now compelled to have to appear in front of House Oversight to provide a deposition. Now, let's talk about this because if this sounds familiar, it is familiar, right? Ghislaine Maxwell actually was supposed to testify back in August of this year. Where are we right now? November what? 23rd? So Ghislaine Maxwell was supposed to testify August 11th. And if you'll recall, back then, her lawyers said the following. we will only come and testify in front of House Oversight if we get immunity from further criminal proceedings, we get all of the House Oversight Committee's investigators' questions in advance of our interview/deposition. We will delay this deposition after our appeals are exhausted for Ms. Maxwell, and the deposition has to occur outside of the then prison that Maxwell was being held, because back then it was what? It was that max security one in Florida, right? So House Oversight smartly said, no dice, but we will revisit this once the United States Supreme Court has decided whether it's going to take your case or not.
So, in an interesting twist, Ms. Maxwell has gone out on the record saying that she will invoke her Fifth Amendment rights, which she's afforded under the Constitution. The Oversight Committee is now like, well, we're not going to even bother having her testify now because she's just going to plead the Fifth. Remember what Donald Trump has said about pleading the Fifth? People who plead the Fifth are guilty. They got something to hide. Only the mob pleads the Fifth. She's got a right under the law to invoke her Fifth Amendment rights and protections. But it's interesting now that all this conversations about commutations, the Democrats have been chiming in saying there's no fucking way in hell you're going to get this person's going to get a pardon. So here we are, right? Here we are again. The pressure mounts. I want to thank Vicky. Thank you so much. Live goal finish. Thank you, Vicky. Appreciate that. Vicky, and also to Anita and to Karen. You guys are all great. Thank you all for your kindness today, helping us bang out that live goal today. Appreciate you all very, very much. The reason that I wanted to share that little piece is because there's only so many places that they can hide now. You know, Kash Patel is under a lot of pressure, likely to resign. Thank you, Vicky. Likely to resign or likely to be fired. Pam Bondi's under pressure. There's conversations about her being disbarred because of the whole Lindsey Halligan thing, you know, illegally appointing someone and then going on the record saying, well, we're going to appeal. You can't appeal because there's no person in that position that can appeal the case because they were illegally appointed. Well, I don't know. I don't know if he can pardon her, quite frankly. I don't know if he can. Because if he pardons her, that would be the ultimate confession. So he's in a tough spot. So this is my, Kristi Noem as well, right? This is my prediction, right? So the effort the Department of Justice has gone through to remove his name, the thousands of names or the thousands of times he's referenced, I think I've got some reporting on that if I can just find the right story. Is this it? I know it by heart. I think the discharge petition was so brilliantly written because it makes it very clear that if you are going to say that information can't be released, then you have to narrowly tailor it. So what the Pam Bondi, because she's just incompetent, has decided to do on the record is to say, we're going to investigate Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and other Democrats, which means that anybody else's name that is included in this, that those investigations become public because you can't, it's so narrowly. Let me back up a second. The reason that they wrote the language the way they did in the discharge petition was to address exactly this, right? If you want to say, DOJ, that you're going to open up an investigation into everybody's name who's been connected to this, then that would keep the documents protected under wraps. That would then mean that you'd have to investigate Donald Trump's involvement because we know his name is all over it. So they're stuck now. So even because they're being outsmarted at every turn, they've gone on the record saying, we are going to open an investigation into this person, and this person, but not everybody else. Which means anybody else's name becomes searchable in a searchable database. That was one of the examples. And Pam Bondi, let me just see if I can find it. Just easier to go through it this way. Hold on. Hang on one second. It's going to make it easier if I just do it this way. This one particular part, this is the actual Epstein Transparency Act, which was signed into law. The Attorney General may withhold or redact. Okay, hang on. Prohibited grounds for withholding. No record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of any of the following: embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure, or foreign dignitary. What's permitted? This is the key. The Attorney General may withhold or redact the segregable portions of the records that A, contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clear unwanted invasion of privacy. B, depicts CSAM, child sexual abuse material. C, would jeopardize an active federal investigation or ongoing prosecution, provided that such withholding is narrowly tailored and temporary, meaning that you've got to be very clear who it is that you're investigating. They've gone on the record to say, we're investigating Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, etc. Otherwise, they would have to say, we're investigating everybody. And then that everybody would include Donald Trump's name, because they've admitted that they found his name thousands of times. We know his name is listed in the Oversight Committee docs. We did this graphic before. You guys have seen this. So there was this, the New York Times did this amazing breakdown. This was, each dot is an email thread released by the Oversight Committee. Each dot is an email thread of what they released. These dots represent the amount of times that Larry Summers' name was mentioned in the email, 117 out of 2,300. These dots are the amount of times that Bill Clinton was mentioned, 512 out of 2,300. And this is the amount of times that Donald Trump's name was listed, 1,670 out of 2,324. So we know that he's connected. They did not include his name in their investigation. So they're stuck by law. The law is now signed into law. The law says that they have to release all the information, all of it, unless it's an investigation, which that would mean they would have to open up an investigation into the president. And there ain't no way in hell he's going to allow that to happen. So they are literally stuck. Oh, by the way, here's the dog. That was yesterday. Where was I? What is this one? So I know they don't care about the law, but that puts Pam Bondi on the record because it falls on her. They can't run. Long story short, guys, they can't run from this. Okay? They can't, because they're stuck now. Yeah, that was Kipper. Yes. He is my daughter's dog, but he tends to spend a little bit more time with me these days, but they're stuck. So I think it's important to not forget that, because the burden is now on the Department of Justice, because they have failed miserably at every single turn. So what are they going to do? Thank you, Heather. Good to see you. What are they going to do? How are they going to outrun this? The answer is they can't. They're stuck. So where's that story? Kash Patel says the Epstein estate refuses to share records with the FBI. This is dated from a couple days ago. FBI Director Kash Patel said this week in an interview with journalist Catherine Herridge that J.E.'s estate is refusing to share key records sought by investigators. He said the government and the estate hold, quote, separate boxes of information. So that's an acknowledgement that they have got a bunch of shit that they have not released, right? Interesting. Limiting what the FBI can access as it reviews a new referral in the case. Patel noted that federal officials have repeatedly requested materials from the estate without success. He said the FBI will evaluate whatever evidence it can obtain as the inquiry moves forward. Now, it's interesting, right? If you think about that. The Oversight Committee has been able to get information because they've subpoenaed it. There are Democrats on the Oversight Committee that have been part of releasing the information that we've seen so far. Why do you think the Epstein estate may be refusing to hand over information to the DOJ? Let's just think about it out loud. Let's think about it, right? Maybe because they don't trust the FBI. Maybe because they feel like the FBI will try to spin an entirely separate narrative, right? So the Oversight Committee, the DOJ is absolutely compromised. No doubt about it. They don't trust the DOJ. So the DOJ is going to attempt to try to spin this, and because Kash Patel is fucking stupid, like stupid, way outmatched in this realm. He's going to try to come up with a story. Now that they've petitioned the judges again to try to release grand jury testimony, the judges have already said doesn't meet your standard. That might be different now because there's a law that's been passed. We don't know. There's not much information. Judge Berman made it very clear. We've got like 100 pages of stuff. You guys have like 100,000. So where is it? Where's the information? Where is it? Let's go. Get it out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Patel said on the Catherine Herridge Report show, quote, based on the new referral, we'll take a look at that and see what evidence comes. But there's an important distinction. The information that the government possesses versus the information that the estate possesses. Those are two separate boxes of information. And the Jeffrey estate has not been willing to share information with the U.S. government. Even so even though we've requested them to do so. That's not true. Now, is it? It's not true, Kash. It's just another lie. That statement. The estate has not been willing to share information with the U.S. government. Under subpoena from the Oversight Committee, they shared the emails, all the information that we've gotten so far. The bulk of that has come through the Oversight Committee subpoenaing the Epstein estate, and that's how we got the information. They don't want you to have it because they don't trust you. They think that you're corrupt. They think that you're incompetent. They think that you will destroy information. We know that there are multiple copies of all the information that's in possession of people. We know that. We know it. We know that there are receipts out there. We know it. Okay? We know that this exists. The Department of Justice, injustice, is caught. They are stuck. Why this matters is because Patel's comments come as the Trump administration remains under pressure to release the so-called e-files related to disgraced financier J.E., who died by suicide. The FBI and the DOJ said earlier in the summer that there was no more information to be released, sparking backlash from MAGA supporters and Democrats alike after the president promised that all information would be made public. Herridge asked Patel about the case after the president signed a bill that set a 30-day deadline to force the release of the files. The FBI director said he was working with the DOJ. You're the FBI guy. You're the fucking you're the director of the FBI. The FBI director said he was working with the Department of Justice to determine what could lawfully be produced, but that there were also orders in place to keep certain details classified. Patel said he would try to keep redactions to a minimum. Quote, we have in our productions to Congress, which have been historic to this year, and will treat every matter in the same fashion while upholding always victims' rights. I respect the victim's right, Kash, but now there's a law in place. Now you have to do it. Now you can lie all you want, but now there's a law in place. And you yourself, Kash, has gone on record saying, FBI director, he's the person who's got it. He's the person who's got it. You can do it. Come on, Kash. I know you're busy flying yourself and your girlfriend all across the country on taxpayer dimes, which you've been busted for, which people in your own party are disgusted by, using taxpayer dollars. Oh, and by the way, FBI detail security paid for by the American taxpayer for your girlfriend, Kash. It's an appropriate name. Anyway, on the issue of the Epstein, Herridge also raised the question. Attorney Herridge, or the host I should say, raised the issue of the DOJ probe announced in the past few weeks, looking into the relationship between Democrats and former President Clinton. She asked if the investigation was limited to Democrats, to which Patel responded, we'll just follow the facts. On the issue of the Jeffrey estate and the files it holds, Patel said the FBI had a separate box of information from the estate and that agents had asked to share the information to no avail. So what's in your box, Kash? Seriously, what's in your box, Kash? You should have released this information by now. What are you hiding? What are you hiding, Kash? People want to know. Some of the files the estate holds have been released by the Oversight Committee, including several thousand emails from Jeffrey to various contacts over the years. As Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi had promised, the Epstein files would be released before seeming to backtrack. Heritage asks what Patel had to say to those skeptical of actual justice under this administration. Patel said the FBI's work showed a strong record of arresting violent felons and investigating alleged espionage. Yeah, exactly. What's in your wallet, Cash? Trump said in a recent post on Truth Social, quote, perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their association with JE will soon be revealed because, quote, all caps, I have just signed the bill to release the files. California Democratic Representative Garcia told CNN's Caitlin Collins on November 17th, quote, we're fighting to ensure that those documents are released. And by the way, Republicans have tried to stall every single time they get more documents. They've not wanted to release them. We're working with the Jeffrey estate. We expect even more documents to come out from the Jeffrey estate, but we also know that the DOJ is enormous. It is dramatically more documents, photos, possibly videos, and that Jeffrey estate does not have. And so that's what we need, and Pam Bondi should release all the files. I don't know what else there is to report on, to be honest, because listen, we know what we know. We know that the Department of Justice is holding information, and why else would they be holding it? Why are we not getting GDP numbers from the Trump administration and inflation numbers? Why are they not talking about that? Why are they not admitting publicly that their tariff program is a fucking disaster? And why are they not releasing the Epstein files? Why are they not being honest with their base about the facts around the person who was alleged to have unalived a West Virginia National Guard member? Because their administration is the one that approved his asylum request. You understand? So it's people like Joel that walk around here who have no clue in life other than to try to grift. They have no idea. They don't care. They just don't care. We do. I made a commitment to you guys as soon as the news on the Epstein story broke that we will cover this story, and we will not stop covering it. I look at every single day if there's anything new. So this is the newest that we have, right? The situation about Ghislaine Maxwell potentially pleading the fifth, and the Oversight Committee saying we're not going to even ask her to testify if that's what she's going to do. When the Democrats take the House, when they take the House, all of these people are going to be questioned. Every one. Every single one. And the chairpersonship will sit in the hands of Democrats. And they won't be able to run. They won't be able to hide. And then you can get what's referred to as referrals. So the Congress can submit a referral to the DOJ, which they will likely do, but they're not going to get investigated. I think at that point it will just be political theater, but I want to see it anyway because we believe you lied under oath. So we're sending your testimony, things that you stated here under oath, apparently, to the DOJ for investigation. And then when we impeach officials, because we'll have the majority in the House and the Senate, then you replace them with other people who might decide to investigate the criminality, because the Department of Justice is supposed to be an independent arm of our government, not at the direction. The Department of Justice, the Attorney General, is not the president's lawyer. They represent our country. The Attorney General represents us, quite frankly. The American citizen defending the Constitution, not what she's done. So there's that. Let me just check in over here. Yeah, I see that. I see that, Brooke. I think we're good. Okay. Just checking in. All right. Let me, I think I've got one more thing, and then I might wrap a little bit earlier today just because I'm tired. Let me see here. Did I cover this? I think I covered that. I covered this. I covered that. right, box is open. If anybody wants to come up and share what's on their mind. I don't think I'm going to do Facts After Dark tonight, friends. It's been a long week with a lot going on, so I know we're going to try to get back on that schedule, but Mods and I discussed before the show today, and I told them I would let them know, so I'm going to let everybody know publicly. I don't think we'll do Facts After Dark tonight. We'll get back to that schedule because it's fun. It just takes a lot, and sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes it's nuts. Good morning, my friend. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Happy late Thanksgiving.
God, your mic is muted, my friend.
Oh, is that better?
That's better. Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want to say happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Yeah.
You too.
And
we're doing something coming up in December, aren't we?
Yeah. I am going to do my new format on Friday, and I was going to run by you of joining you one morning.
Next week? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm having it this Friday.
Oh, okay. Today's Friday.
No, I'll wait from today.
Okay, gotcha. Yes. So you want to jump in some morning next week and promote it a little bit? Okay, yeah. You got it. You know where to find me.
Yeah, I'll message you. My schedule is flexible, so whenever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anytime you want to come up, you know where I am, Monday through Friday, 8 till noon. We'll be back on the main account on Monday morning, though. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool. I was thinking maybe Monday morning if you want.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right,
Thank you, brother. Have a good weekend. See you later.
With you.
All right. I think it's cool. I mean, we're just we want to use our space to be able to promote causes and programs, and we love Ryan and want to try to help support marginalized communities because that's what we do around here. All right, I think I'm going to wrap, guys. I appreciate you all. I know, like, today's going to be. I've got somebody's requested. I'll be happy to bring somebody up. Bring up JD. We'll make it brief.
I thought I would let you know something I found. Good morning. I found a charity that helps low-income families get cars.
That's awesome.
It's called 1-800-CHARITY-CARS, and it's across the country.
Awesome. Yeah, we have one up in our part of the woods called Cars for Kids. We have one of those as well. So it's I think those are great causes. I love that.
So, and I'm once trying to get a car right now. So.
Well, there you go. Okay. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. I appreciate you, friend. Good to see you. Have a good day. Okay.
We'll see you. Bye.
All right. All right. So again, it's a Cars for Kids isn't so great. Really, I've heard good things and bad things. I mean, like everything else, I suppose. But it's Black Friday. I'm hoping that you guys. I know it's difficult. I know that we are a consumption society, but maybe this is in the true spirit of do something. Maybe today is the day. Maybe you don't participate in big box capitalism. Maybe you look for craft shows or buy local or support local establishments or support small businesses. We have an opportunity, friends, to really let our voices be heard. And the way to go after corporate capitalists is to not spend money in their stores. So if you can do that, it's a lot, right? I get it. I understand. But it's something. And we all have something that we can do. I love you guys very much. Thank you for your support all week. Mods, you guys are the best. Let me just check in. Who are we going to raid? Who's anybody out there live right now that we can raid? Anybody know? It's a weird day, I think. I would imagine clean the house for the coming holiday. Definitely. I clean the house. Yeah. My house is clean. It's definitely clean, but it's not exactly super organized. It's definitely clean, but not totally. Blue's live. Let's go raid Blue, okay? Everybody at BLU. Let's go raid Blue. Tell them we said hello. I love you guys. You're awesome. I'll see you Monday morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. You'll probably see me around the TikTok streets this weekend, depending how it goes. But yeah, no spend Friday. You guys are the best. I'll see you Monday morning. Until then, friends, everybody get out there. Do